CPN News welcomes you, dear viewers. Folks, the world is shaking under geopolitical thunderbolts. From Russian drones igniting Europe's borders to fragile hope in Gaza via Trump's deal, Washington pumps endless weapons cash into Israel, and Pyongyang flaunts nuclear missiles under midnight lights, all thrusting humanity toward a new chaos brink. Russia challenges NATO with airspace drone incursions. Dozens of flying objects streak across Ukraine's border, sowing chaos at Polish airports. NATO sounds urgent alerts. French and German F-16 seconds roar into the sky. Kyiv brands it Moscow's most dangerous hybrid strike. Next, Trump rescues Gaza from the inferno. Israel and Hamas nod to Phase 1 ceasefire, freeing 50 living hostages. Troops pull back from 30% of shattered territory, Qatar mediating. But Western observers warn Tehran could shatter it all. America funnels $21 billion in arms fueling Israel's fight in Gaza, Lebanon, Iran. Over 40,000 Palestinians dead, U.S. munitions raining down. EU calls for an arms embargo, but Washington insists on self-defense rights. America's budget storm is brewing fierce. Finally, Kim Jong-un parades nuclear missiles for the Workers' Party's 80th anniversary. 10 ballistic types with 5,000-kilometer range gleam on stage. Seoul and Tokyo heighten alerts. U.S. pushes denuclearization talks. The Korean Peninsula holds its breath again. These four blows shape the week ahead. We'll break them down in detail right now. This morning's dawn, Poland's border skies darkened. Drone engines hummed, slicing the night. 19 flying objects plunged like shooting stars, ripping through NATO airspace. Polish Air Force downed the first 3 sirens, wailing across regional airports. Western intelligence sources point to Russia deploying drones from Ukraine's frontier. They skim low-dodging radar targeting sensitive spots near Warsaw. Poland shut airspace for 90 minutes, canceling dozens of civilian flights. No casualties, but fear spreads like wildfire. Moscow stays silent, Kremlin denying via spokesman, but Al Jazeera Analysis reveals it's hybrid warfare. Russia probes NATO reactions with cheap drones, echoing recent Baltic breaches. NATO's Secretary General labels it a dangerous escalation threatening Europe's eastern flank. Meanwhile, France, Germany, Denmark scramble F-16 seconds, Rafale's Eurofighters urgently. They patrol borders primed to shoot down threats. From Kyiv, Ukraine confirms retaliation for last week's Russian missile barrages. Defense Ministry reports 19 similar objects spotted overnight, mostly from the east. Polish officials bolster air defenses, adding U.S. Patriot systems. Regional airports lost 90 minutes of normal ops economic hit in millions of euros. The West frets if drones persist. NATO's Article 5 could trigger. Moscow tests limits, dragging Europe into a fresh spiral. Fallout ripples wide. NATO faces tough choices, strong response, risks full war, silence invites weakness, charges. EU urges joint defenses, dodging Putin's internal rifts. Ukraine pushes allies for more USC. Arms buys stressing unity needs. European observers note Moscow's growing international isolation. Western security experts assess Russia's drones cheap, but tech weak. If NATO holds firm, Moscow's hybrid momentum stalls. US AIM-9X missile costs about 500 grand versus Russian drones at mere thousands. The economic math tilts west. From Poland's borders to Kyiv's smoke lingers. Power restores quick. Trust in European security hangs thinner. This morning in Doha, tension eases. Phones ring in sealed meeting rooms. Israel and Hamas nod to Phase 1 Gaza ceasefire deal. 50 living hostages set for release, troops withdrawing from 30% of rubble-strewn land. Western diplomatic sources credit Trump's mediation for the plan. He hails it historic paving, broad peace with Iran. Hamas hands over hostage lists, Israel confirms 20 key deal points. Qatar works back channels, locking execution details in days. Gaza welcomes it, but warns Tel Aviv, breach means fiercer war. Israel pledges phased pullout starting Philadelphia corridor. First sit-down violence-free since last October. Trump boasts online Middle East peace returns thanks to American strength. EU welcomes but demands tight oversight. UN pushes humanitarian aid for Gaza's 2 million exhausted souls. Hamas stresses Palestinian prisoner swaps as parallel, avoiding past deal collapses. Israel ramps Lebanon border security, fearing Hezbollah meddling. Immediate ripples. Middle East oil markets steady slightly, prices dip 2% on news. Gazans hope homeward, but over 40,000 bodies remain under ruins. West warns Tehran don't sabotage or face fresh sanctions. Trump predicts Phase 2 covers Syria expanding regional calm. Washington observers note Trump's personal diplomacy prioritizes national interests, restoring U.S. Middle East clout. Western security experts affirm Israel's legitimate self-defense against Hamas threats. If the deal holds, Gaza dodges a deadly winter. But doubts cloud Hamas lacks transparency in pledges. From Doha to Tel Aviv, hope flickers amid smoke. Deals can save lives. Trust needs time's test. Last night in Washington, White House lights burned late. Urgent calls echoed corridors. America injects another $21 billion in weapons for Israel, fueling Gaza war spilling to Lebanon and Iran. Munitions pour like rain, turning the Middle East into an unending blaze. Costs of War Project reports tally from conflict start. Monthly $500 million in U.S. ammo floods Tel Aviv. Israel deploys against Hamas in Gaza. Hezbollah up north Tehran warnings. Over 40,000 Palestinians killed, numbers sparking global outrage. Israel insists rightful self-defense. IDF reports 200 Hamas targets smashed last week via precise U.S. missiles. But UN brands it humanitarian catastrophe, demanding immediate halt. EU weighs Israel arms ban, fearing regional boilover. Under Trump, Washington ramps aid. He calls the spend security investment tough on Iran and proxies. Versus Biden-era cash flow up 30% per U.S. diplomatic sources. Hezbollah rockets retaliate, killing 50 Israeli civilians, prolonging the vortex. Heavy tolls. Gaza drowns in wreckage, 2 million short on clean water power. Global oil jumps 5%, hitting world economies. West splits UK, France back Israel. Germany urges restraint. Tehran threatens payback, edging Middle East to wide war. Washington analysts say Trump's policies put national interests first, reclaiming U.S. edge against rivals. Western security experts judge Israel's support upholds law-based order despite long-term cost worries. If funds keep flowing, U.S. budget strains, but ally security tops. From Gaza to Beirut, flames roll. Weapons buy easy. Peace demands more courage. Last night in Pyongyang, stage lights blazed. Brass horns boomed across Kim Il-sung Square. Kim Jong-un stood tall, pointing at the colossal parade. 10 ballistic missile types, 5,000-kilometer range gleamed in motion, showcasing North Korea's nuclear might. Western intel pegs it as Workers' Party 80th ruling anniversary bash. Thousands march, tanks rumble. Newest ICBM unveiled first time. Kim declares nuclear program an unbreakable shield. Images spread fast, jolting Seoul and Tokyo. Pyongyang hails it national strength proof. KCNA dubs the parade a mortal symbol, with 10 fresh weapons reaching U.S. soil, but Seoul officials report direct threat post recent tests. Japan boosts defenses, dreading hotter Korean peninsula. U.S. urges urgent denuclearization talks. Trump's Washington stresses firm on Pyongyang to shield allies. Versus prior parades, scale swells 20%, CNN analysis says. Kim Yo-jong warns any provocation meets fierce reply, ripples spread. Indo-Pacific tensions spike, Asian oil climbs 3%. NATO watches close, fearing China domino. Seoul-Tokyo scramble, F-35 patrols prep to counter. West cautions next test brings tighter sanctions on Pyongyang. Washington observers note Trump's policies reclaim U.S. stature, prioritizing ally interests against Pyongyang threats. Western security experts deem North Korea's nuclear push deeply concerning, opaque, and challenging law-based global order. If talks fail, peninsula risks fresh spiral. Missiles fly far. Peace needs real dialogue. From Pyongyang to Washington, nuclear shadows loom. Power parades loud. Global security frays easier. We'll bring you updates on every scorching development in the next bulletin. We'll continue tracking all developments in upcoming broadcasts. For any feedback on the program, please leave it in the comments below. Once again, the editorial team greatly appreciates your support as valued viewers and listeners. Don't forget to subscribe to CPN channel to catch the hottest updates from around the globe. Thank you, and see you in the next bulletin.